Hey y'all, Professor Wyman here, and this is the first step in cleaning your data before analysis for the PSYCH 144 project. First, we are going to review and delete some Qualtrics generated variables. I have already opened my data set in Jamovi, and then there are additional videos that finish walking you through the data cleaning process. You can follow along using the Scribe How link, which is the written version of the instructions that go along with this video. So here I am in the video, and I'd already clicked, but if I wanted to click into my variable and see what's happening with it, I can actually just double click on this and it's gonna bring up the name of the variable and some information that's important. So first of all, Qualtrics adds a lot of variables that we don't need, but there are some that are really important and some that are just helpful to have. So I'm going to leave this start date. I'm going to leave the end date. I could also arrow through these, but I want to do something with my status variable. So here you can see I have a survey preview. Those would be at the top. And what those are, it records the previews that you did when you first launched your survey and you were checking to make sure that it's working correctly. So obviously that's not real data. So you need to actually delete it. I have a separate video on filtering out data, but the survey previews need to actually be deleted. I don't just want to filter them out. I want to actually delete them from the data set. And it's just a quick process. So you're just going to go ahead and highlight the row or rows where you have survey previews. You may not have any because you were supposed to delete them in Qualtrics before downloading the data. But if you did not, then you might have some there. So you just need to right click and then delete the row. The other option is that you can click delete here. Oh, sorry. You can click delete here for rows and say row 1 and say okay. So just make sure you read that before you say okay. You can always do this back button if you make a mistake, but it's easier to just pay attention as you're going through it. So that's all I need to do with that one. I could leave that variable there. I don't need to delete it, but I do want to delete some other variables. IP address, I do not want. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete that variable. I'm going to go ahead and leave progress. That just shows the progress for their completion. You might end up deciding you want to do something with that. Duration in seconds. I think some of you are interested in measuring how long it took different people to complete the surveys. And then really from there on, I want to delete everything. So I could leave the finished or recorded, but I don't need any of this information. So I'm going to highlight this column by clicking on it. And then I'm going to go all the way to user language. I'm going to hold my shift key and I'm going to click that as well. And then I can either delete it by clicking here or I can right click. So I'm going to just go ahead and click up here and say delete. And I do want to delete 11 columns. So I'm going to say okay. And now I should go from the last variable I wanted to keep, which for me is duration. And now I have this informed consent. So those are the Qualtrics generated variables that you need to deal with. And so now I'm going to go ahead and end this video. The next video talks about how to rename your variables that you created.